It's 10 minutes past 8. Thanks for joining us this morning. We have been hearing about the intense efforts to get more personal protective equipment for our frontline carers, and that includes some unusual methods of transit.
This British Airways plane would normally be flying people around the world, of course, but instead its seats are stacked, as you can see there, with boxes of PPE from China, where so much of the kit is being manufactured. It's a round trip of 24 hours from the UK. One of the pilots who made that journey is First Officer Helen Gearing, and we can speak to her from her home in Hampshire this morning. Helen, very good morning to you. I mean, this was a flight, I assume, like none other you've ever undertaken before.
Absolutely, a completely unique experience for all the crew on board, but obviously very, very happy to be helping our NHS at this difficult time.
Talk us through some of the logistics. I mean, how do it work? So where did you take off from? Where did you land? The loading process and the journey itself.
So we started in Heathrow, and there were 7 pilots on board, 6 cabin crew and 3 members of cargo staff. And so it was pretty much empty going out because we wanted as much possible to bring back the valuable equipment. So we flew just under 11 hours to Shanghai, where we had approximately then 2 hours on the ground before flying immediately back to Heathrow. We had the belly of the aircraft full with cargo, but also unusually we did carry a lot of the PPE equipment inside the cabin, which would normally have our customers in.
Now, on the face of it, I mean, you tell me, that sounds like a very quick turnaround. Just 2 hours on the ground, for them just to get everything on board, which clearly was done very speedily, but also for you and your fellow pilots, the challenge of, you know, who's going to be flying the plane, because normally you would rest quite a bit in between.
Usually we would, yes. So somewhere like Shanghai, being in the Far East, we'd normally have around about 48 hours. But we would normally have 3 crew operating that, and then the rest and fly back. But we actually had 7 pilots on this so that rest could be maximised and it was spread out evenly between the whole crew. What
was the atmosphere like on board?
It was actually very, very good, jovial atmosphere. We're all very, very happy to be helping our NHS. We're also very selfishly, I suppose, quite pleased to get out of our homes and actually see other human beings just for a little while. But everybody, of course, was very, very privileged and humbled to be part of this unique flight.
And Helen, I mean, obviously, very few British Airways flights, other flights as well, very few flying at the moment. I imagine, just on a personal note, must be quite nice for you just to be back at the wheel again.
Absolutely, as we were saying before, you know, don't take anything for granted anymore. Those beautiful views that were afforded every week have now been sort of taken away for us temporarily. So it was a real treat, certainly, for the crew to operate the flights.
Do you normally, Helen, sit in your British Airways uniform when you're not at work? Is that like a normal thing for you? Just, you know, get up in the morning, get the uniform on, makes you feel good?
Yeah, this is my normal clothes at home during lockdown. No, I thought it would look smart, and my mum told me to do it.
Well, you always do what your mum says, which is important. You do look very smart. And just tell us, in terms of, is this something that's going to be happening more? I mean, do you know, is there a schedule? Is there going to be, because clearly, don't want to get into the politics with you, but there's huge demand. So will there be more flights like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at least once a day at the moment, sometimes more. And this is in addition to our repatriation flights as well. We're going to some quite unusual destinations that we wouldn't normally fly to bring people back home. So we are operating as best we can to help the current situation and get that valuable equipment as much as we possibly can to our NHS.
Good talking to you this morning. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And looks very smart indeed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.